Panther people up. The Carolina Panthers beat the Cowboys, and they might have the best running game in the NFL. All right, before I start this episode, I got to shout out Queen and Cotton t-shirts. They're in North Davidson in the beautiful city of Charlotte. They hooked me up with this Carolina Reaper t-shirt. Yes, for Panther fans only. They did it first, I think, but why not have too much of a good thing? This is a beautiful version of it as well. They mix American traditional tattoos with Western American style, and I freaking love it. You can wear it podcasting, you could wear it around town, you could wear it at the gym, you could wear it picking up your kids at school, drop off, being a cool dad. You could be the cool dad rocking a cool t-shirt that's not team owned and it's third party and it looks freaking awesome. It fits great. If you're fit, it hugs your arms really well. They're long enough. They don't stick to your tummy. You look jacked in a shirt like this. Just saying. Also, if you're in North Davidson, they will crop your t-shirt for free if you're into that. But yes, if you want a discount on Queen Cotton, 10% off, just go in the description below, click on the link, type in shop, blah, 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 promo, post, P-O-S-T, 10% off. Do it. What's going on, you watching Panthers Post? Thanks for joining. Well, Carolina Panthers are 500. They're 500. They're 3-0, undefeated at Bank of America Stadium. That place is literally a fortress. I'm hearing from people say it is absolutely quote unquote lit. That's what the head coach of the Charlotte Hornets said about the atmosphere at Bank of America Stadium. It looks like some of those vibes from Charlotte FC is bleeding into the Carolina Panthers as well. And that place is getting rowdy. People getting lit up before games. And the fact that they're beating a team like the Dallas Cowboys, one of the model franchises in the NFL, despite the fact that they've had almost zero postseason success. And since I've been in high school, the Panthers have been to 2 Super Bowls. The Cowboys have been to zilch. But this is just what the Panthers do. This is what they do. They get us excited. We'll see what they do next week against the Jets. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But the Panthers in this win, in the last 2 wins, are really showing something to me that they really shouldn't be called the cardiac cats. I think they need to be called the combative cats, because anytime this team is in a shootout, whether it's with the Miami Dolphins or in this case Dallas Cowboys, they come to play. They become a better team. They're almost forced to find their identity and I think and see what works. And I think they have found that in Rico Dattle, and everything happens for a reason. The sliding doors moment, Chuba Hubbard goes down, Rico Dattle comes in. You had to expect that he was going to be a good back. He rushed for 1,000 yards with the Dallas Cowboys last year. 200 of them was against the Carolina Panthers when it was him, and I think Cooper Rush was under center. They beat the Carolina Panthers, and here comes Rico Dattle, who's a year older than Chuba Hubbard. But I've said previously, I just like the way he runs a little bit more. I think he runs a little bit more fluid. He's a bit more agile, and now we're seeing the fact that this man does not go down with the first contact, whether it's a safety blitz or as a linebacker. He is just tough to come down. And and with that, he broke the single game all-purpose yard record held in the Carolina Panthers franchise. 186 yards rushing, 56 yards receiving, and a touchdown against his former team. Just blowing shit up. Just absolutely blowing stuff up. You cannot stop this man right now. And I think he's already top 5 or top 3 rushers in the league, and he's only been starting 2 games. And shout out to the offensive line as well. And now the offensive line is getting the love that it deserves. And this is one without its starters, 3 of them, if you want to count Austin Corbett as a starter. Probably should have been Cade Mays this whole time. But Taylor Moton was not playing. Obviously, Robert Hunt is not in it. But you still have Ike Kwanu. You still have Damian Lewis, who is still pulling and smacking the shit out of people. But the offensive line getting a lot of love. But just the run scheme that Dave Canales is running right now is getting a lot of hype, getting a lot of praise by people. The motions, the blocking, the double tight end sets. Tommy Tremble, I've always been a Tommy Tremble guy. You can get $1 every time I say that, because it's been true. Like, check out the draft when they drafted him. He was a blocking tight end really at Notre Dame. I think he has one of the best hands in our tight end room right now, even though Mitchell Evans is going to give him run for his money, no doubt, down the line. But he is a relentless blocker. Bryson Tremaine getting a shout out from Dan Orlovsky on Pat McAfee on the job that he's been doing when he's not catching, because the man is dependable as well with his hands, but he has been punishing people in the block, and that is making Rico Dattle just a dominant running back. He is running through gaping holes, and couple that with the fact that he is a patient runner, he is a fluid runner, and he is the hammer, not the nail. Like, I watched all his rushes, all over again. And when he hits a dude, you can see their hair fly back. Like he is putting the pressure right on their chest with his shoulder. And it's too bad that when Chuba Hubbard does come back, they're going to have to go back to a running back by committee. I think that's what they're going to do. Like, might as well just get this out of the way, the elephant out of the room. Like, Chuba Hubbard's not going anywhere. I don't think they're trading him. I don't think they're trading Rico Dattle. They're just going to use them both as in a committee. Do I think that that lends well to Rico Dattle or any of them? No, because you can't really get into a groove. Um, I always found when I played football or rugby, you always kind of get in the mood after you get laid out once. Like, but if you're on the sideline during that time, you're not getting hit, you're not hitting someone, you're not getting all juiced up, you're not just getting out there. And I think Rico Dattle gets better with time. Like he's that guy. He's not a Derrick Henry type physically, but in the fourth quarter, he's still rushing for like 9, 12 yards. And just the way he runs is so angry. And I think he's more agile. I think he's more patient than Chuba Hubbard. They're two different kinds of backs. Who gives you a better chance to win alone? I think it's Rico Dattle. Chuba Hubbard, he has shown us he doesn't have the best hands, despite the fact he shows up to games 3 hours beforehand on the jugs machine. Rico Dattle already has a receiving touchdown, like a long one, and um, on his first pass his way. And so I don't know. Like I think they're going to do running back by committee, and if Chuba can obviously elevate his game, which he now will kind of intrinsically want to after seeing what Rico has done, I think it's better for the team. Like if they can, if I guess they'll have to see it's a meritocracy, obviously, and that Chuba Hubbard he's not like Marshall Faulk in 2000, but if he can't replicate what Rico is doing once he is back in the lineup and they're doing running back by committee, it's the same offensive line, same running scheme, and he's just not making it work, getting to that second level the way Rico does almost instantly. Then they have to make a business decision, no doubt. I'm not saying cut him. I'm just saying give Rico a little bit more touches, maybe split it like 60-40, 65-35, something like that. I could totally see it happening. So I think what came out of this and the Miami game in this, punch him out duel between two teams is that Dave Canales had to lean in on what works. And what works is the running game. And that's what he always wanted to do. But now he's got, the scheme all scheming. Guys are executing. Offensive line, tight ends, wide receivers, third string wide receivers who, don't really have an ego out there. Bryce Young is selling those fakes and they're taking advantage. And are they going to do it against the Jets again next week? Probably. It's really good to hear. Okay, I'm going to preview the Jets in a second. But on top of the running game, what that does naturally is help set up the passing game. And with Grandma in the stadium, Tetra McMillan, 2 scores, not just 1, 2. And one of them is now making the rounds and has been making the rounds for a couple hours now, was his double move on his first career touchdown in the regular season, where he basically evaporated the safety's soul. And he's not known as a route runner. He is known as a guy who's using his wingspan, his vertical jumping ability to outdo his lack of running route skills. But in this one in particular, he literally dropped the guy, stole his soul, ate it, like K-pop Demon Hunter styles, completely wide open in the end zone. Easy catch. The next one, a little bit more in traffic. It was a little bit of a tighter window, more traffic around. There, Bryce Young wasn't throwing from like the 30. He was throwing from a little bit closer than that. Bryce Young getting traffic in his face as well. And then Tetra McMillan just kind of feeling the flow of the defense and the offense and then getting his second touchdown. I love that. Absolutely love that. Finally, the Cali connection is happening. It was kind of like a running joke that Mitchell Evans has more touchdowns than their 8th overall pick. But in this sense, you got Mitchell Evans, who is getting better every single week. And then Tetra McMillan now finally hitting pay dirt. He's only going to do more and more of that, obviously, as his career goes on. But we definitely have one. Greg Olson, I don't know how they allow this to happen, but former Panther great calling plays. That's like crack to Panther fans. You got Greg Olson, who is the best color commentator in NFL broadcasting right now, calling your team's game and just basically comparing Tetra McMillan to not Mike Evans, but to AJ Green. Prime AJ Green was a force to be reckoned with, sometimes overshadowed by the likes of Calvin Johnson during that era, but he was amazing. And if he can be that with a Bryce Young that continues to throw with capital A anticipation and, showing the grit and moxie to continue to, not be overwhelmed by having a back and forth game, whether it's against Tua Tagovailoa or Dak Prescott, or next week at Justin Fields, or the week after that against Josh Allen. I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. Also, shout out to the receiver room. Jimmy Horn had a nice 34-yard reception. I think he transforms his offense in the best way. I'm not saying it's completely transformative because of him, but I think he just gives that added speed that we haven't seen before. Xavier Leggett, 2 catches for, I think, 29 yards or 24 yards, something like that. He seems happy for Toucher McMillan, at least in the celebrations there. Just keep on. He's not making mistakes. That's all that matters in terms of Xavier Leggett. And that's good. That's good. We have a good amount of receivers right now, and it's only going to get better. Mike Kay from the Charlotte Observer reporting that Jalen Coker, he's going to start potentially questionable, could be playing in the Meadowlands against the Jets this week. Jatavian Sanders could be coming back as well. So that is 2 massive things. Like, do I think Mitchell Evans has earned a role as one of the starting tight ends? I think he's been a very dependable pass catching tight end right now. But yeah, it's good to have the competition. They don't have to rush JG Sanders back. I think Tommy Tremble and Mitchell Evans together have been great. But yeah, Jalen Coker, I mean, that's a big one. And he's definitely also a guy. Yes, he can catch the ball. He's got speed, but he likes to block as well. So you add this big body wide receiver to the Bryson Tremaines, to the Xavier Leggett, who I'm sure has been coached up to block hard as well. I think this team is only going to get better now. I think they're starting to figure it out. As I said in the last episode, we kind of have to look at this team not as a surefire wild card team, which I thought they were in the offseason. I have to check myself that they're a young team. They're still figuring it out. Like, they're literally getting guys off the practice roster on teams like the Cincinnati Bengals, and they're getting game time with the Panthers. Like, they're figuring it out. And Bryce, he had an interception on paper, but it was a Tetra McMillan drop, deflected, picked up by the Cowboys DB. And so it's not necessarily his fault. But Bryce, moment wasn't too big for him. And again, this is not a world beater that they're up against, but this looks like Bryce Young in the second half of last year, where he's using his body. He's in that flow state. Going back to that Alex Zetlow interview with the Charlotte Observer, when he is struggling, he's struggling. You can see the gravity weighing him down. But then when he's in a flow, it just comes naturally. He just looks like he's having fun. And yeah, he's not dumping passes off. Like, he is throwing dudes open way down the field, whether it is a Rico Dattle or a Tetra McMillan or a Jimmy Horn. That 4th and 3 toss to Hunter Renfrow to keep the clock moving and keep the chain moving was maybe the best throw. He was falling down already. The window was closing with the corner on him and the linebacker closing in this way. He zips it right to him, and that just kept the ball moving. That was great. Obviously, if they missed it, no bueno, not great. But that they also have to be prepared for the Rico Dattle run. He had a pretty solid run in that last series as well. But everyone's contributing right now, and it's only going to get better if Jalen Coker does come back and is actually 100,000% healthy, not like Jonathan Brooks, put him out there and he tears the ACL right away. But yeah, the offense looks like it's kind of found its mojo, and if they can do that, just focus on the run, chuck it to Tet. He's going to be somewhere there, and I think that's a winning formula as long as Bryce doesn't make stupid mistakes. I think he played a pretty clean game, only threw 25 times, perfect, but each pass was pretty darn meaningful. So I think the offense is finding its groove. Now switching gears to the defense. Yes, this was a back and forth. It'd be great if it didn't have to always be a back and forth, and we always need to come from behind, game-winning drive from Bryce Young. That'd be great. But the defense has been doing its job in terms of stopping the run. Teams have only rushed for 50 yards against the Carolina Panthers, and that's against a pretty impressive rushing attack with the Miami Dolphins. Mike McDaniel, that was his thing. He loved elaborate run schemes, and they couldn't do anything against the Carolina Panthers. And then you have the Dallas Cowboys, and this must have made Rico Dattle feel great. They had no chance. I think they rushed for 29 yards against the Panthers. They were averaging 2.2 yards per carry. And it looks like, this is a defensive line that doesn't even have Turk Wharton back, I don't think, and at least not fully. But Derek Brown is in midseason form. Patrick Jones has been a great addition to this team as well. Nick Scorton is contributing. Princey Uman-Milan is contributing. Bobby Brown is a friggin' mountain of a man. And it all starts with 95, though. him being midseason form, just tossing offensive linemen, tossing running backs away and eating them up is just great. Like he's like Snorlax out there for the Pokemon people. Like he's like Snorlax. Not saying he's tired, but like he's just like a massive human being and he'll just like lay on you and then you're done. Your day's done. That's a good sign. That's a good sign because that means the Panthers going to the Meadowlands. They're not overlooking this Jets team, according to Derek Brown. He's like, we've literally been that team that we're just the doormat of the NFL, winless. They're 0-6 right now. We'd be foolish to think that we're any better than them. Like we could be them if it wasn't for a couple plays. So that's a good mentality to have coming from your captain. Get out there, hard fought win, do what they're doing now, focus on the run. Tetra McMillan is somewhere out there. Defense continues playing lights out in terms of the run. And you're 4-3. You're coming back home where you're 3-0 up against a Buffalo Bills team that at last check is getting blown out in Atlanta by the Falcons, a team that we beat. I didn't beat, but my favorite team beat 30-0. So the NFL is a week-to-week league. You never know what can happen. The Jacksonville Jaguars are suddenly good now. So Panthers could beat the Bills at home. Things could get really weird. Things could get weird in the NFL. But right now, I'm going to enjoy it. It's Canadian Thanksgiving. I am thankful for the Panthers giving me a one Monday where I could be pretty damn proud to walk around with an S on my chest, or in this case, a BY on my chest. Or maybe it's a TET on my chest. I don't know. One of those. Maybe an RD, a Rico Dattle on my chest. But yeah, also get those homage t-shirts, the angry runs. Do that. But yeah, Panthers winners 30-27. They are 3-3, undefeated at home, taking on the 0-6 Jets next week. I'm feeling pretty good.